Yeah, after the South Florida game, we came back and we got back. That game was so long. I think we got back about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. But we went right back to work on Monday. We had great practice on Monday and tremendous preparation day yesterday. Another good practice at 2 o'clock. So I felt like our kids were ready to move on. You know, your last game is your last game. You move to your next game. Next game was East Carolina. You know, one of my staff members had the scout report. You know, we felt like it's been a long time since we've been at home, so we're excited about coming back home. But, you know, we played good. You know, we shot the ball well. But I was more excited tonight about our ability to maintain our intensity level for that long a period of time. You know, some people don't understand basketball enough to know that you can play really good and not make shots. You know, just because you make shots doesn't mean you're playing good either. You know, we shot the ball well tonight, but look who was shooting them. You know, Armani Brooks is an outstanding shooter. Corey's an outstanding shooter. But I thought Corey and Armani and Galen's defense and attention to detail tonight was outstanding. Nate just continues to improve. I just love his the way he plays with great confidence. He's got a swagger about him. He doesn't, you know, he'll make mistakes, but mistakes don't bother him. I think they bother me more than they bother Nate, which is probably a good thing. But you know, I can look to everybody on our roster and say that they did some good things, but I thought that our starting five, attention to detail, their focus and being locked in every minute they played tonight was outstanding.
If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Thank you. Joseph?
Kelvin, you mentioned defense and Gardner for them. I think it's Kelvin 4-13. How much of, you know, going into the game was that scouting before game plan?
Number one, you don't scout East Carolina, you scout their players. You know, their best player is averaging 21 points a game. He's averaging 11 rebounds. That same kid had 35 points and 20 rebounds against Central Florida. So he was the number one person on the scouting report. We spent our entire preparation for the last 2 days around him. And but I thought we did a good job on all our kids. They'll play a lot better when you know, we're a good defensive team. So the better defensive team you play, the harder it is to score. You know, the two best defensive teams we played against last year was Cincinnati and Michigan. You know, we lose to one by 1 point after being ahead in the last minute, and we lose to the other one by 1 point after being in the head the last minute. But we may have been the best defensive team they played too. You know, it's hard to score against good defenses. That's why the coaches for teams emphasize that end. But he may come out in the next game and get 30. You know, he had 27 against Temple, right? 35 against Central Florida. He's a good player, and Joe Dooley's a really good coach. You know, what he's going through this year, we went through our first year. You know, that's when you inherit a program that's been neglected for a long time. You've got to build it back up, and Joe will. That's why in the big picture, tonight's game is not a big deal to East Carolina. Their best days are way ahead of them. I've been where Joe's been. He's a really, really good coach, and for us, I've already moved forward.
Question? Go, Chris.
Coach, what makes you guys a good defensive team?
Well, it all starts with your scheme. It's not 1-on-1. It's 5-on-5. You know, defense is a series of actions. You know, what action does the team run? It's middle pick and roll, side pick and roll, slot pick and roll, cross screen, down screen, back screen. We're pretty good at guarding the actions.
For both players, how do you keep your defensive intensity up throughout, even when the score is the way it is?
Good leadership. Corey and Galen are there. They pride themselves on being really good on-ball defenders. So when we see them playing really hard, it just encourages the rest of us to not let them down. To not give up any buckets because of how hard they're playing. So when we see them working so hard, we just want to make sure that we keep hold our own end.
It's emphasized every day. Coach just emphasizes it every single day. Every time we meet, he says, do this, do this, do this, and it's on us to go out there and execute what the defensive plan has been put in place for us. So we just work hard every day and just try to get better at it and keep the foot on the gas.
Coach, what are your thoughts on how Chris Harris has played the last couple of games?
I just like the way he prepares. He's such a smart kid and a mature kid. I love coaching him. He's a wonderful, wonderful young man. We got him deep foul trouble. Deep foul trouble the other night in Tampa. And when his number was called, he responded in such a great manner that I decided to reward him tonight. As long as he had 2 good practices Monday and Tuesday. He came out, was great Monday, he was great Tuesday, and I told him he didn't know he was going to be the he didn't know he was going to move up into the rotation though until right before the game. I told him. But if you don't reward kids for working hard, where's their motivation to keep working hard? They need to be rewarded, and for kids to get passed along, then figure it out. Maybe you need to start working harder too.
Armani, there's shooting nights and then there's shooting nights. Can you kind of, I don't know, reflect or put your finger on when you shoot 73% from 3 in the first half, just how well things are going, or you guys are capable of that, but that number alone just jumps out.
I think it's just a testament to how hard we work every day. Every day, before and after practice, we're getting shots up with the coaches, and just to see it all paying off is a great feeling. And we're all extremely confident in one another, So we all give each other the confidence to shoot the ball. If you're open, we all encourage them to shoot it. And if you miss a shot, we're going to tell you to shoot the next one. So it's just a testament of how hard we work and our togetherness.
Calvin, before the game, they presented you with the ball, kind of commemorating the 600 win. You kind of made a quick wave and then quickly moved on to preparing for the game. Could you tell me what was on your mind at that moment?
Well, it happened last. When did that happen? Last Wednesday. I just rather the focus be on our team, and we had these kids work so hard in practice every day. I just rather attention be on them. My dad was my role model, my hero, everything, and he's a Hall of Fame high school coach in North Carolina, and he's one of his earliest. He was never a guy to give you advice, but I just remember him saying this to me: just make sure you're always reward the players, give them the credit when you win, and you make sure you always take the blame. And I think that's the way it should be for coaches, and that's just. When we win games, I just rather give them the credit.
Coach, is there, I guess, I'm not sure how to word this, relief in that you have guys like Chris Harris, you have, Cedric, Nate, DeJean, you have all these guys, because last year there were times where you had, maybe 7 players in a game.
No, last year we had great depth.
Or
2 years ago maybe, but not last year. Last year off our bench was Fabian White. Who else was off the bench? Armani Brooks, Fabian White, Armani Brooks, Chris Harris, Norazana. The strength of our team last year was our depth. So, but that's not a mistake and it's not an accident. We've recruited to be deep. We have 3 5s. This year we have Breon, Bryson, and Chris. Last year we had Breon, Chris, and Nura. So we have the same amount of 5s last year, and we have the same amount of 4s. Last year we had Devin and Fabian. This year we have Fabian and Ced. Last year we played 5 guards. This year we played 5 guards. I played the exact same amount of people this year that I did last year. Some people are just not paying attention to it, though.
Any other questions for anybody?